Emily, hello. How you doing? Been a little bit. What's up? This one. Should be good. Do another gambit slot. So ally. Ally disable. You cast Isuna. And that should be pretty high priority. Put that up here. Alright. Moving on. Oops. Sorry, Gamily. I forgot to turn off emote only. There you go. How are you? Let me ask you questions now that you can talk. Bow Amazon in Diablo 2, and Bozons were pretty popular. I was a big Sorceress player myself. Sorceress and Necromancer were my favorites. Dodge lock bug? I don't know that one. Is that something about the dodge making your ability to move freeze up or something? That's what it sounds like. Don't entirely remember what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, I thought I was supposed to talk to somebody in town, but I'm just ready to go. Okay. Alright, so I gotta get back to the Golmore jungle, which means I should warp to... Actually, I can just walk out of town. That's what I'm supposed to do. Go from here. Dodge animation can't be interrupted. Multiple prompts will keep you locked out of making actions. That sounds like a pretty bad bug. You use one of your abilities and suddenly you can't do anything anymore? Jeez. That's pretty bad. Oh, you're not a chocobo. Sneak. Already sold stuff. Okay. Okay. Kaiser Shield's looking nice. Death kitties. It's a crazy sword I've got. How is this thing called again? Deathbringer. Well, yeah, it looks like a Deathbringer. On theme.
Yeah.
Gambly, did you ever play Diablo 2 on hardcore mode with the permadeath? That's some crazy shit right there. I only tried hardcore once, just for giggles, and I made it a necromancer though, so that I would not be directly involved in the fighting to as much of a degree as possible. I think I still died to the boss of Act 2 though. Because once he kills all your skeletons, you're screwed. Act 2 is the hardest one in the game? Possibly. There's a lot of enemies getting resurrected. I remember there was those mummies that would resurrect the zombies and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you were playing an ice sorceress, you can get around that. Because you can't resurrect things that have been shattered. Freeze the zombies and shatter them. No res. Of course, your damage output's not as good that way, but still. Trade-offs, you know? Utility for damage. You got a nice bow in your bows on?
Yeah.
There you go.
Ha. Yeah.
I find it interesting to see how many spells and abilities from Diablo made it into World of Warcraft. Like, you've got Frost Nova, the idea of paladins with auras, Retribution Aura and stuff. Although Retribution Aura seems to be gone from the game now, which makes me sad. From Warcraft, I mean. I used to use Retribution Aura on a tank paladin, so that if an enemy came in here and damaged one of my allies, they'd take damage from me, which would aggro them to me as long as the other person didn't touch them. So they'd run in, hit the enemy, or hit one of my allies, then turn and come to me. It was great. It's like a little mini taunt. Couldn't bounce it from PvP. See, that's what I hate. Like, why does PvP stuff gotta be affecting the normal game, you know? Why don't they just make Retribution Aura stay in the game, but it just doesn't work in PvP? Like, disable it for PvP, but let us have it out inside of PvP, you know? Very annoying. I have to lose my ability just because of them. They don't even do PvP. Why should I have to lose it? Very annoying. They did it first and people bitched, so then they took it away? Yeah, and then people bitched, probably more people bitched about that. Made it worse. Like, the PvP people probably complained, but I bet they're a minority of the game.
Yeah.
Hey, you. How's it going today?
He's going.
You sound like you might have had a bit of a day again.
Suddenly, very, very much so.
Well, I know of a beverage that can help with that. Happy beer day.
Happy beer day to you too, my friend.
Clink.
Clink. Mm.
So I don't know if you saw me toss something else new in your memes channel, but apparently Vermin Supreme is now a trans pony.
Interesting.
I guess somebody made a pony character for him that had his little trademark upside down boot as her cutie mark. And yes, her. Like, oh, okay. Now this human male is now a female pony. Okay.
Whatever works.
Yeah, Rosé, that sounds about right. Actually, Gambling, the funny thing is, you say that. I know a couple of other games where rogue types can tank. But they do it, or at least one of them does it in the way you'd expect, which is like evasion tanking.
Yeah.
There was this MMO, I don't know if it still runs. And honestly, it had flaws and I didn't like it too much overall, but there was this MMO called Rift. I think it was called Rift. They had an interesting system where you'd actually pick 3 different classes and mesh them together. And one of the classes they had was essentially a rogue that tanked, but it was like mage tanking. They were specifically designed to tank enemies that cast spells. Which I thought was an interesting idea. Because usually, tanking classes are specifically set up to tank physical damage, mostly. So it kind of filled in a, you know, a hole in roles that wasn't really filled before. Sorry, Kai, what'd you say?
It does sound interesting.
Yeah. There were problems with the art style and gameplay, and overall it just didn't grab me, but I thought the blending 3 classes together thing was a cool idea. Yeah, you didn't like it either, Gamley? Yeah, I agree. They had some cool ideas, though. And also Star Wars, when Kai and I did a playthrough of that, I was essentially a rogue tank, because the Jedi Consular could specialize into either spellcasting specialty or essentially a rogue. And the rogue had your typical stealth and backstab options, but it also had a tank option, where they used the Force to protect themselves.
Need to stop grabbing my balls.
Yeah. So Kai was playing the mage specialty consular, and I was playing the tank one. I essentially tanked by telekinetically floating rocks around myself to absorb damage for me. And it worked really well.
It did.
Not quite as well as my World of Warcraft tank paladin cow lady, but pretty well.
Yeah.
Or as I called her, my shield moo.
Your shield mooden.
Yes, there you go. She was hardy as hell. Incredibly difficult to kill.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's a tank's job, but I was still impressed at how well it went for her. And while tanks typically aren't known for their damage output, one-on-one fights, her damage output wasn't great. But because of the way her abilities worked, if I got lots of enemies crowded around me at once, I could kill them very quickly.
Yeah.
Because she had an AoE thing, actually a couple of AoE things, plus something where the more enemies surrounded her at once, the higher her shield block chance went up. And she had multiple things that would trigger whenever she had a chance to trigger when she blocked things that helped with her damage output, including one of the AoEs, so I could use that more often the more enemies were attacking me. And I don't remember if it was a chance. I think it was, I forget what the percent chance was, maybe a 40% chance or something. Whenever I blocked an attack with my shield, there was a strong chance of some holy damage being reflected back on the person who hit me. And so, of course, the more people are surrounding me, the more often that's going to trigger, because there's more people attacking me. But also, the more people surrounding me, the higher my block chance goes up, so therefore, the more often it's going to trigger again. And they're all taking damage when they hit me. So, if I surround myself with like a crowd of 30 enemies, like, 3/4 of those enemies are going to be dead real fast. But one-on-one against a single tough enemy, that would take a while. Like, I'd win the fight because they wouldn't be able to hurt me much, but damage output wasn't great. The crowds of little tiny enemies. Just steamroll them.
Yeah.
That was one of the few characters I got to max level. It's kind of fun to have a tank that could be that confident about their defenses. Plus, it's fun stomping around as a big, like, tribal minotaur with a plate mail and a massive shield. I do find it interesting how there's a bunch of cultures in World of Warcraft that are based on real-world cultures. And the Tauren, their Minotaur race, is basically Native Americans.
Nice.
Essentially. Their culture is just straight-up Native American. Totem poles, teepees, the whole thing. Like, I don't know if it's modeled on any specific tribe or not, but it's very clearly, like, the stereotype of Native Americans. Then there's the trolls, who are Jamaicans. The dwarves are Scottish, because dwarves are always Scottish. There's Gilneas, which is like Baroque England. I forget which part of England specifically. Maybe Wales, I'm not sure. What else is there? Oh yeah, the Pandaren, which is fantasy China. Who, of course, were added to the game based on a joke that then became a real thing. And the Blood Elves... I don't think the Blood Elves are directly based on real-world culture, but they have... almost, like, their architecture and decor has a sort of vaguely... England-occupied India feel to it. With, like, silks and stuff. Ozon has explosive arrows and pierce. One arrow can clear a hallway. That's crazy. Reminds me of this other game I played. Gamli, have you ever heard of Grim Dawn? It's a Diablo type of game. I remember there being a few spells and stuff that some of the casters had in that game that were really good room clearing spells. I forget what the spell was called, but it was like an energy missile that would go out and then fracture. And it pierced as well. So it would go through a room, through all the enemies, and it would like shoot out splinters to the side of it as it went. It was kind of nuts. Race of Yeti is based on Canadians. We take no prisoners, but we apologize for the inconvenience. Sorry. Hey.
Yeah.
Whoa. Wolfspin.com. Better than a wolf job, though.
God, so this is what I come in on.
It's Snow. Snow is left call immediately. This mental image of Snow walking into a room where this conversation is happening and just turning and leaving.
Make it authentic. There we go. Had to make it authentic. Oh.
Yeah.
You had to make what?
I had to make it authentic. I left the call and joined the call again.
Did you actually?
Yes.
Yes, he did.
That's funny.
Hey, I don't half-ass things.
Nice.
I've seen the pictures. She absolutely does not.
Snowcat, only the full ass. We full ass everything around here.
Oh, jeez.
You can't call offended, but you love the attention.
But yeah, with the whole Warcraft cultural thing, though, I thought it was really cool how they... at one point in the game, initially the classes were pretty restricted based on which race could be which class, for like cultural reasons or whatnot. But or for more practical reasons, like obviously a Minotaur is not going to be a rogue because you're not sneaking around with giant clawed-hopping hooves.
So that would be hilarious to watch.
It would be.
You can
But
be
at one
stealthy
point-
if there's no witnesses.
Yeah, that's the Tauren Fury Warrior method of stealth. But at one point they went in and they added more classes to various races to give people more options. And for some of them they needed lore reasons for it, and I really like the lore reason for why Tauren started being allowed to be paladins. Because, you know, you don't see Native American paladins, really, right? But they're very nature-worshipping people. A lot of druids and shamans and stuff. But they put in a way for them to be priests and paladins, which ties into the fact that priests and paladins in Warcraft worship the light. And so, the Taurens got a sect of priests and paladins called Sunwalkers, who are sun worshippers.
Nice.
So it's like, alright, my paladin's gonna be a Tauren then.
Which makes some sense when you consider, you know, nature kind of needs that whole light cycle thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then you get the fun thing of, well, you know, theming as well, right? So, oh, where am I going?
Wouldn't a nature knight just be a druid?
No, druids are typically more spellcasters, so that'd be more of a nature priest. Although in this case, the priest class is a more specific thing, so the Sunwalkers had a priest option as opposed to a druid option. So more specifically worshipping the sun as opposed to, you know, plants and stars and the moon.
I wonder if there are any druids that sort of laughed at the fancy portrayal of them.
Probably a lot.
Then again, I know a druid that plays D&D, so it
Do they
can't
play
be
a
all
druid?
bad, right? I honestly don't know. It's actually the one that I sent you a picture of, with the shirt that said, "Don't worry, I have a plan," with the Nat 1.
Oh. Actually, they should put an asterisk. They should put an asterisk on had, and then below there's the fine print that says had instead of have. I had a plan, then I rolled a nat 1. Another thing I like with the Tauren Paladin, though, is how... So something they do in the game, and D&D does this as well with Paladins, where they have a spell that they can use to summon a warhorse. So in Warcraft, that's basically just like, everybody gets... You can buy a mount at one point in the game to travel faster, you know, like a lot of these other games have. And they give Paladins a spell to do theirs. So it's like a warhorse with barding on it, you know, very knightly. So they decided, okay, it'd be silly to give the Tauren this horse. So what they did for that one is, if the Tauren casts that same spell, they get the Tauren's racial mount, which is a Kudo. The Kudo. Kodo. K-O-D-O. It's basically like a giant thunder lizard, like it's almost a dinosaur. Like a big stompy dinosaur. Like, not super huge. It's like, I'd say it's about the size of a rhino, but more like a lizard. It's a big stompy fucker. Thunder lizard kind of thing. And so the Paladin summoned one is, it's got like tribal designs on it and like a painting of a sun. Sunwalkers. They look pretty cool.
Is baby praising the sun?
Oh yes. Give those boys an Estus flask.
Here comes the sun. Damn it, not the sun.
Here comes the sun. Crap, not the sun!
No,
Too much
damn
sun!
It. Damn it, not the sun.
Too much sun!
There is no song called crap. There's a song called Damn It.
Yeah.
Crap, there's the sun. Da da da.
Yeah.
I make my own rules, damn it.
Except that's a reference to the most trolly random playlist ever. It had the 3 songs, Here Comes the Sun, Damn It, and Not the Sun in that order.
That's amusing.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of druids, they did something interesting during one expansion in that game where they gave every class their own class-specific mount that they can get. That you had to do a quest line to earn. And the one for druids, rather than being a mount, it was just a new shapeshift form they could turn into. Because, you know, gotta stay on theme. Yeah, every race had their own, like, racial culture mount. And I remember at one point they added Worgen, playable Worgen to the game, so you could be a werewolf, basically.
Nice.
And their racial mount was not a mount, it was just them going down on all fours and running around like a wolf. That game has a crazy number of mounts. Of course, this is also the game that charges people $30 of real money to buy a Pegasus made out of stars.
Mm.
So people can run around the game bragging about how much money they've wasted. Like, I could see $5. I might buy something like that for $5, but $35? Nah. Hell no. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But then they reacted to that by putting in an NPC who had one and also acted like a ridiculous fop. And everybody made fun of how much of a ridiculous fop he was and his stupid sparkly horse.
Yeah.
But then they keep coming out with more mounts that are stupid priced, so you know.
There's a mount on well in Final Fantasy. It's I think they have it at 50 right now, 50 real monies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it can hold. It is an 8-man mount. You can have like a whole like free company in there, which is like a guild.
Well, I mean, a lot of guilds are probably bigger than that, but you could put like 2 teams worth of people in that.
Yeah.
Or the raid group size is larger.
I wanted to throw something out there real quick, completely unrelated. You might appreciate this though. Did a little bit of math today, and there is a resin 3D printer, which is something I've been looking to get at some point, called the Photon Mono 4K, and it's a really nice little printer.
That's a name.
And with that printer, 3 kilograms of resin, a wash and cure system with 2 washing containers, costs just slightly more than the Tyrannid Hierophant Bio-Titan model.
Sounds about right.
Now, if you know where to look, you can find in somebody else's unofficial version of the Bio-Titan that can be printed on the Photon Mono 4K. So you could spend pretty much the same amount on a 3D printer
Get both.
and have unlimited Bio-Titans, just with the recognition that you can't use it in official tournaments because Games Workshop is a bag of dicks.
Oh, you have no
Yeah.
idea. Ugh.
That's a douchey rule.
You can't kit bash. Well, fuck you.
Fuck you, I'm gonna use proxies.
I just thought that was a very interesting fact that you can pick up a printer and resin and a wash and cure system for like $530, and the Bio Titan right now on Forge World is $440.
Yeah, those things get expensive, especially the really big. I know a guy who, well, I know of a guy on YouTube who bought like the Imperial version of a Titan, and had paid somebody to paint it for him, and I think all said and done, he ended up spending like $1,000.
Is it that
Between
big
purchase
bipedal
and,
mech thing?
What's that?
Is it that big bipedal mech thing?
Yeah, and by big I mean roughly the size of my torso. Yeah.
Yeah, like the size of a small child.
Yeah.
It's fucking huge. I'm watching somebody paint one of
It's,
those on the weekdays.
It's beautiful, but it is huge.
Yeah, it's
And expensive.
absolutely stunningly huge.
But I mean, a lot of detail work went into that thing, and it's a lot of material, and it's probably overpriced, but it would still be expensive, even if it wasn't.
It's pretty overpriced, because my understanding of how they do their resin casting is that it's rotocast, which means it's like 85 to 90% hollow.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
Which,
surprised. That's probably the only reason you can even lift the damn thing off the table.
Based on watching the guy paint it, it certainly doesn't seem like it takes any effort for him to move it around. I could be entirely wrong on that, but it seems to me like it would be a lot easier to rotocast those parts than it would be to just do a full pour. Because full pour, you're going to end up with a lot of failures, just because of how the resin contracts.
Plus, that would just be wasted material, really.
Yeah. But, I've been informed of dinner. I just thought I'd throw that fun fact that,
Alright.
hey,
Enjoy dinner.
this printer costs just a little bit more than this model.
Why not have both?
Why not have an entire fleet of biomutants?
Fun
Or
fact about the
Bio-Titans, sorry.
fun fact about the Imperial Titans, by the way. Well, first of all, they're crewed by like a few dozen people, and the primary pilot of the mech, actually plugs it into his brain and can feel things through the mech's sensors. So it's like they merge with it mentally.
That's kind of cool.
So basically, they're riggers from Shadowrun.
Anyway,
Yeah, it's not
Have
riggers.
good,
Pretty cool.
have good noms.
Some noms.
Have good noms. Hurry back. I say that though. That seems to be kind of a suggestion.
Yeah, I feel like since she's having a bit of a day, maybe she's gonna want to stay away from people anyway. So maybe she will. Who knows? I don't know what the source of that day today was.
Who knows?
Will not pry. We'll restore for you, Durgan. Well, the dragon I was fighting tried healing itself. Then it died, so I guess it was too slow. So I'm like, haha, no heal for you.
I mean, I could probably guess ongoing human stupidity, but I don't know.
Yeah,
So
that still leaves details missing. such as witch humans, etc.
Pick one.
There's a lot of readily available stupidity, that's for sure. Ooh, telekinesis. Hello. That's even better than 1,000 Mules. Where do I license the damn thing, though? Techniques seem to be kind of scattered around. Forgot that skill existed, though. So telekinesis, for those who don't know, is a skill that allows you to basically hit people with a melee attack from range. So it's great for flying enemies, because sometimes the flying enemies open themselves up to attack, but sometimes they don't. I mean, it's technically a ranged skill attack, but it does the damage that your melee attack would normally do. Oh, hello. I don't know where it is on the license board, though, which is the problem right now. This is probably all accessories, but let's check. Yeah. Oh, so I have the skill now, but I don't appear to have a way to use it. Let's double check, though. Yeah. Huh. Must be hiding behind some summon blocks or something.
Maybe.
I hope they didn't do something like hide it only into certain jobs or something. I don't think there's a specific job that has exclusivity over certain techniques. So I don't know. Right, there's where we're going over there, I think. Or wait, oh no. Did I never report that hunt back? 'Cause it's not a formal hunt, but maybe I still have to report it back anyway. For the Mandragoras.
Mm-hmm.
What other kind of fun mounts they have in 14 that are not real money cash mounts?
Well,
obviously.
yeah.
Fat.
They're, well, chocobos, yes. Let's see here. There's some you get, from, fighting the primals and stuff like that.
Oh yeah? I don't remember that being a thing. Maybe that got added later.
They drop from the extreme fights.
Oh, that's why. I didn't do those.
They're actually not too difficult.
Okay, I just did the regular though.
Yeah. That, let's see, you get a unicorn when, you level, conjure up to level 30, I think. So that's the only, I think, class-based one I know of.
Okay, yeah, I never leveled Conjurer that high, I don't think.
Yep. there are some that are given through like holiday events or just because events.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Let's see. Some you get through playing the game, like being subscribed, like playing for a certain number of days or whatever.
Okay. Nice. Remember, one of my favorite ones they had in Warcraft was the Meccano Strider, which is basically a robot ostrich.
Yeah,
And that was the race / culture mount for the gnomes, because they're a lot of gnomes do like tinkering and mechanical stuff.
Let's see. There is one that you get actually somewhat easily. If for like the gold saucer stuff, you can ride around on a card.
Oh, weird.
If you get like all of the triple triad cards or whatever,
Okay, I see.
you get to ride around on a card.
Yeah, Warcraft had a flying carpet. They actually had a few mounts that were created by crafting skills. So if you were a tailor, you can make a flying carpet. Actually, another one of my favorite mounts, well, in this case, flying mounts, comes from engineering. You can make yourself a little one-person mini helicopter, and it's very clunky. Like, it looks like it's about to rattle and fall apart at any moment. The way it shakes as you fly it around, and it's got a special idle animation. If you just sit idle for a while, it'll stall out and start to drop before you start it back up again and regain your height. It doesn't actually drop, it just makes the animation look like it. It's kind of funny.
Let's see. There's some mounts you get through getting like gold saucer points or whatever through either playing the games or doing the lottery or whatever that you can then trade in for a couple of mounts and emotes and whatever have yous.
Can you get a big stuffed Moogle to ride around like Kate Sith? Kate Sheet, I should say.
Casey. Let's see. I don't. Not
Hey.
quite a Moogle.
Possibly Tony. Hello. How are you today?
But there is one known as, I think, like the Fat Moogle or something that holds like a bench or something underneath him, and he kind of floats along like a balloon over top of it. It's a two-person one, so you can have two people on it.
Nice. Remember there was one mount they had in Warcraft that makes it... When you activate the mount, you basically shapeshift into, like, a winged lion. Like, not like the standard griffin or anything, but... something almost entirely lion, except it has wings or something. And then another player can mount you. Lewd.
Not sure if ladies.
Exactly right. Alright, let's see. Can I do this from the world map, actually? Let me see. If I go to... more jungle. And go to the map. Yes, okay. That's the exit there I want. Okay, so that warp will work. They got a lot of crazy mounts in that game. The nice thing is, if you play multiple characters, it's the mount collection is account-wide.
Nice.
So you get them out on one character, now all your characters can use it. I think the Dwarven racial mount was a mountain goat. Or a ram or something like that.
Nice.
Some sort of mountainous, cold weather type of critter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
Man, I look forward to the day when Blizzard's not such a shitty company anymore. Eventually. Gonna have to play that game again. I feel like the next expansion is gonna be weird because we're gonna be just going to some other place on Azeroth that we haven't been to before. Whereas in the current expansion we are in the literal afterlife. So that's gonna be a weird. Like, okay, we're going. First of all, last two expansions we explored different islands on Azeroth. Now we're going to heaven. Okay, now we're going back to some other island. Just a weird swap back and forth. Yeah, Gamley, I've got high hopes for Microsoft being able to really improve Blizzard, but it's going to be at least a year before the purchase actually kicks in. So they can't do anything to change the company until then. That's when they can start. So it's going to take a little time, but here's hoping. So it was kind of cool having an expansion where you go to the afterlife. Because then you get to see people who have died in the storyline, and you get to see them again.
They've done something sort of like that with 14 and the newest thing. Also, we get to go to the moon.
Yeah. Do they have the weird moon music from Final Fantasy IV?
Yes.
They do? Oh, that's amazing. That was so weird and otherworldly.
Also, in one area in the new thing, it is actually playing Final Fantasy IV music, the kind of like almost not quite music box, like clanky sort of music-ish.
Nice.
And it's like, I've never heard this before, but I also feel like I've known this before. Huh.
Pseudo retro.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, I hope we can all get on that at some point. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
FF mobile game. Oh no. It's not just that one where you just swipe your finger back and forth the screen, is it? It's like pretty much just like a non-game where you just throw dozens of heroes at enemies. I forget what that one was called. Tactics game. Oh my, I didn't know there was a mobile tactics game. Is it good? Alright, let's go into question marks. That's a big tree. Hey, there's no point of being able to see big trees from bottoms and not from bridges. What's that one called, Gamling? War of the Visions?
We have to check that out.
Yeah. Give me your review on it, Snow. Oh, we've already got Gambling from you. Gambling likes it. Ooh, got the instant death effect on that one. Nice. I don't know what the percent chance is, but this sword has a chance of just outright killing things, regardless of the damage it does. I'm assuming the chance is incredibly low. But this happened, so that's nice. And I'm guessing bosses must be immune to it.
That would make things way too easy.
Yeah. Bosses are typically immune to things like auto-kill effects. Sometimes poison too, which is annoying. Although I don't know if they do that in this game. Some RPGs do that. Which annoys the hell out of me, because poison's not really worth using on things that aren't big and tough enemies. It's like, if I'm fighting something that's going to die in 6 seconds, why am I going to bother poisoning it? It's specifically useful for the things that will take a long time. Speaking of which, I just remembered the next boss. It's going to be a real pain in the ass, because my mana will be draining constantly. If I remember correctly. That's here. Okay, I just wanted to have that exit labeled. Although I've noticed that in the Zodiac Age version of the game, they've disassociated those quickening attacks you can do. They've taken them out of your mana pool, so they used to cost mana to use. Now they use those orange bars underneath my characters' names. So I guess that means I can use it without using my mana. So that's something. Oops. He's just recasting Libra right as I step on a trap. Oh dear. Am I gonna go after all the espers? I'm not, but I have done that before. I've done it in a previous playthrough. I'm not going to be doing it this time. Largely because I've got a time limit on this. I guess I explained it yesterday, but I don't think you were here then again. I'm playing this off of Game Pass. I have a copy of this game on PS4. But I thought it would be easier to play it on the PC. And I have a subscription to Microsoft Game Pass. And this was on there, so I thought I'd play that version. Since it looks nicer, it's easier to play on the PC while I'm streaming, because I don't have a capture card. I do have a way to stream stuff off the PS4, but it involves a remote connection that I don't have to bother with now. I don't have to use up more of my bandwidth connecting to my PlayStation. But I noticed that they are removing this game from Game Pass in 2 weeks. Which means I need to beat the game before then.
Mm-hmm.
Which means I can't do all the hunts and all the espers, so I won't have time. I think I've got plenty of time to beat the game, but I don't have time to do all the fancy stuff. I am doing most of the hunts off camera, though. Probably won't do all of them. In fact, I'm trying to remember how much game is left. There's technically a possibility that I might be able to get this tomorrow, but maybe not. If I don't beat the game tomorrow, then I'll have a few days of time off where I can run around to do some more side quests and hunts. But I have to beat it by the end of next week, so I've got... Let's see. Today, plus 4 more streams after that to finish this. Which should be fine. But like I said, I can't do all the side content. But this is like my 4th or 5th time playing through this game, so I have done all that before. Some of those optional espers are really crazy. By the time you end up, if you get all the espers and finish all the hunts, including all the elite hunts, if you finish all of that, then you're going to be strong enough to just take the final boss of the game and snap him over your knee. That's basically. But that's half the fun of RPGs. It's like being able to do extra work, level yourself up, and take what would have been a tough fight and make it not as bad. Actually, that reminds me, so did you ever play Final Fantasy 1?
No, I haven't.
I actually over-leveled in that game at one point. I think it was my second playthrough of the game. I over-leveled to the point that I beat the final boss in the second combat round. Like, he had time to attack me once, and then he died. Pretty funny. And this is the game that doesn't even have side quests and stuff, right? But the final dungeon is actually really long. And Final Fantasy 1 didn't have save points. I think, if I remember correctly, I think you could save wherever you want. Actually, no, you could. You could rest on the map, on the world map, but you couldn't save on it. To save, you had to go to a town. And that was it. And the last dungeon was pretty long, so if you fight everything that comes your way, you're going to level up before you reach the end of the dungeon. And then I would think to myself, oh well, I don't want to fight the last boss and then die and lose this level up. So I'm gonna warp back out of the dungeon, go back to town and save, and try again. And then it would happen again and again and again. Until I finally gotten, like, I think 15 to 20 extra levels, and I was like, alright, you know what? At this pace, I'm never getting out of here. If I keep warping out of the dungeon because I leveled up. So I decided, like, these fights are getting real easy. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to town, save, then I'm going to buy a whole bunch of potions. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run away from every fight. And if I get hurt before I run away, I'll use the potions to heal. So that I'm not using up my spells. And I'm going into the last boss fight with all my resources available. And then I just crush him like a bug. I think the first time I beat the game, my party was like level 25 or so. And it was a real tough fight. This time around, my characters were like level 42 or something.
Oh, jeez.
I was at least 15 or more levels higher than I had to be. I think one of my characters lost... When he attacked, one of my characters lost, I think, a third of his health and got paralyzed. And then the fight was over. That was one. Nuts.
Ooh, scary.
Good ghost.
Ah!
I see dead people.
Oh no.
Of course, Final Fantasy 1 was also, I think, the only Final Fantasy that, or one of the few at least, where monks actually didn't have to use weapons at all. Like, most games these days that have a martial artist character, they will still have to equip, like, what they call a fist weapon. You know, like a cestus or a claw or something. But in Final Fantasy 1, you just go completely barehanded and wreck people.
I forget which Final Fantasy it was, but I think it was the fighter or something could actually suplex a train.
That was 6.
Yep.
Very infamous boss fight.
Yep. In 14, you have the opportunity to fight the train again. Unfortunately, no, you don't get to suplex it.
Boo! They shouldn't have even put it in the game then.
Well, thankfully it's an optional fight, so.
Actually, you know what? I need to disable my charge gambits because I am constantly losing mana in this fight. If I keep recharging my mana, I'm gonna be standing here doing nothing but that the whole fight. Does it die to an elixir or what, the ghost train? That's a good question.
It does not.
Or a phoenix
You
down.
have to beat it. You have to beat it down like any other boss.
And I'm glad I got stronger than usual before I got to this point of the game, so we were able to kill this thing so fast. The boss fight with no mana is a pain in the patoot. I did always like that thing Final Fantasy used to do with undead get hurt by healing thing. Or if you try to drain life out of an undead, you hurt yourself. You're basically pulling necrotic energy out of them. I don't know if 14 has that general heal the undead rule or not.
No, but I know that against Void Center or whatever, using Holy is highly effective. More effective than usual.
I should hope so. Yeah, if you get the chance to grab Final Fantasy 1 sometime, you should go for it just for history's sake. It's very grindy though, because there's not a lot of story, but it's fun. Get to see the roots of the series, you know? What's the first one you played, like the oldest one? Number 4, or? It's no.
I'm thinking.
Okay. Just making sure you heard me. Thought we might be having a tech issue for a second.
Wouldn't be surprised. Interwebs have been kind of finicky all day.
Because 2 and 3 were not available in North America for a very long time. They are now, but
Let's see here.
they weren't for a long time.
I played a bit of 7. I personally didn't play 6, but I watched someone else play it.
I would recommend getting a
Before
copy of
that,
that one too. Especially 4 and 6. They're absolute classics. I think they're on Steam now, actually.
I played this one all the way through. But it's been so many years that some things are a bit buggy.
Yeah, Pixel remasters are on Steam. They changed the graphics slightly, which not everybody likes, but I'm sure the gameplay is still. Actually, I quite liked 5 as well. That's one of those ones that came out on a delay. That was Japan only for a long time. But it was one of the earliest versions of the job system. I think the second ever. Number 3 was the first job system used ever. But I think 5 was a better game.
Yeah.
And now we've got I always find it weird when they did it with the series because starting with 7, every successive Final Fantasy game became less and less like what Final Fantasy used to be, and more like weird technological stuff. And then they came out with this game called Bravely Default, which was essentially what Final Fantasy used to be. Like, it's more like Final Fantasy 6, etc. Very good game. But it's just weird that they turned Final Fantasy into something else and then made up a new thing and made it like what Final Fantasy used to be. Like, why didn't they just... If they wanted this new thing that Final Fantasy became, why didn't they call that something else? And then have Final Fantasy continue being what it was. But I guess they did it for name recognition. They wanted to try something new. But they still wanted to be able to get people on board. They knew the name of Final Fantasy would draw them in.
Yeah.
That's where this was. Alright. Although I've got my fingers crossed for Final Fantasy 16 because 15 wasn't great, but it was better than 13. 13 was a giant pile of trash.
I liked 15.
No, I'm saying 13 was trash. 15 was good.
Yeah.
Not great, but good. Like, 15 had problems, but it was way better than 13. And I'm hoping that 16 continues the trend of improving again, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's using a similar engine. Like 16 has some similarities to 15.
I think so.
Seems to use a similar combat engine for I think maybe. But we haven't seen a lot of gameplay, so it's hard to say.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the hilarious ramen ads in number 15. What was it, Mr. Noodle or something?
Which one? What one?
Final Fantasy 15 had a side quest that was basically an ad for instant ramen.
Yeah.
I think that was... Yeah, that sounds about right.
I'm just trying to remember what brand it was. I think it was Mr. Noodle or something like that.
I know it was like cup noodle stuff, whatever.
Cup Noodle, that was it. It was Cup Noodle. I knew it was an English name.
Hey, Luca!
What up?
Hey, speaking of cup noodles,
Noodle, that's how much value I hope you.
I was gonna say I don't know how this connected. I just wanted to say that.
Hey, noodles are good.
I am drinking a beer for the first time in like a week, and it feels weirder.
Oh.
I've gone the last like 4.5 days sober. A, because I'm definitely cutting back, and then B, we got snowed in. I tried pulling my car up. I ended up stuck, and yeah, I'm like, okay, well, it's almost getting dark, and I'm not driving in the snow in the dark, so I'll just shovel it all tomorrow morning. Yeah.
Didn't want to do that either. I like how this place is so magically infused. You like these weird visual shimmers in the air.
Oh, Krendar, have you seen the Bloodborne demake?
Yeah, it's basically what that is that's basically somebody who wants to get into game development, and that's their resume.
I watched Maximilian dude play it, and I gotta say the game looked impressive. Like, you know, with recapturing the old PS1 graphics, and then also the spirit of Bloodborne.
Of course, the funny thing is that game would never run on an actual PS1, even with those graphics.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
But pretty impressive, although apparently it only goes up to the end of Father Gascan's fight.
It goes past that a little bit. There's like a original section, which is the final boss area. Like if you were able to play it effectively, you could probably beat it in under 2 hours.
Have you heard about this thing, Snow?
Mm-mm.
Basically, what somebody did is they took Bloodborne, or the first part of Bloodborne anyway, which is a PS4 game, and then they
I've heard
remade
of
it to
Bloodborne.
look like it was on a PS1,
Huh.
including the resolution
Well then.
and
Like, there's-
the sounds.
The final boss in the demake, which there's only 3 bosses in the game, but the final boss felt like something out of like the werewolf meets Frankenstein's monster. Like, it was some pretty scary, badass shit.
Which boss was it?
It's an original boss. It's called Guilford the Outsider. Basically, he's experimented on by the church, and he knows something's up because he's been leaving documented diaries, and I think he has himself tied down because he feels something is wrong with him. And then you find him, and he's like turned into a feral wolf creature similar to Gascoigne.
Interesting.
And you have to fight him while he's strapped, and he eventually breaks free, and it's so terrifying because he is fast as shit.
Damn. Sounds
Yeah,
very
I hope
terrifying.
I hope. I mean, I'm glad to see a fan project, not get blocked by, the, Sony, unlike some other companies I can name, like Nintendo. But yeah, no, I do want a Bloodborne 2. It needs to be done right because the singular Bloodborne game we got told the complete story, start to finish.
Yeah. If they make another one, it'll have to be a new story. But they could do it.
They could. Like, if I wanted,
they're still tweaking Elden Ring a little bit, I assume. And then they've got Sekiro 2 to make, so I
yeah.
hope.
I mean, I saw a couple ideas pitched for a Bloodborne 2. Like, one is like more Eastern European focused. Another was like the Spaniards and the Aztecs, but in a
Oh yeah. Actually, that would really make sense from a deriving power from blood. The Aztecs were big on blood sacrifice, so that makes sense. You could be like the champion of Quetzalcoatl or something,
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I would play the shit out of that.
Yeah.
There was one discussion I saw where they were saying like they could make like one with the not make it like Sekiro, but use a lot of like Japanese cryptids as like bosses and monsters, and I'm like,
Yeah.
could work, but in the middle of I guess you just said they're doing Sekiro 2, are they?
Well, I don't know if they are. I just think I want them to.
But okay, if they do like a Sekiro 2, then I would think they would do that before they do like a Japanese cryptid styled Bloodborne.
Honestly,
And even then, you could make it its own IP anyway.
they could just use the Japanese cryptids in Sekiro. Right? Sekiro 2.
Yeah.
They don't need to use that for Bloodborne.
Or they could combine
I don't see them doing a Japanese Bloodborne. That seems
No,
pointless.
I don't either.
Eastern European would work. Aztec would work. I mean, you could do it in almost any other setting, really.
Yeah, you could
It'll
do it.
just be redundant to do Japanese is all.
You could do it in like the Middle East because they had a lot of blood ritual type shit over there back in the ancient days.
Yeah. They can do it pretty much anywhere. It's just that Japan would be redundant because they have Sekiro.
Yeah. Oh, they could do a better version of the Divine Comedy because Dante's Inferno like starts off really solid and then it just gets redundant and boring. I don't know if you played that one or not.
Dante's Inferno? Yeah, a while back. That was like the God of War kind of game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was God of War light.
Yeah, the last act kind of fell apart a bit. It was pretty cool before that, though.
Oh yeah, the first, I want to say like 4 or 5 stages are really good, and then the latter end, yeah, it's boring.
Yeah.
I feel like development got rushed at the end, so like the last 3 levels of
Yeah.
hell you have to go through were super short.
I would agree with that.
It was kind of cool how they had you go through the layers, like each layer is based on a different sin. That was a cool idea.
Yeah.
Is this the... Back down in the corner still, okay. Not in the last area yet. This place is always a bit of a pain in the butt to guide. I don't know why they ever did this thing where they have the mini-map going all on the fronts.
Yeah, because like when you're in the...
Because you can just open up your regular map and it's fine, so all they're really doing is inconveniencing me by making me open up the full map.
Well, I was gonna say when you were in that like guard base area or whatever last night, like that made sense that they would jam your radar there, but here, yeah, I don't get it.
Well,
And yeah, if you can just check your map. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I assume they're doing it here because the ambient magical energy of the area is so powerful that it's probably fucking that up. So
But
it's like
kinda
natural jamming. It's just
but
annoying from a
defeat
gameplay perspective, so.
Yeah, because like in there's a map in a game called Dynasty Warriors. Yeah, it's in every Dynasty Warriors game. When I think about it, there's a section in one of the latter end maps that is like a maze, and it completely turns off your radar. Like you can't even see where you're at on the mini map or on the pause screen.
That sounds annoying. I mean, obviously it's part of the maze, but I don't know why they should even do that in a game like that.
Well, it's not hard to navigate. You just got to predict where you're going to end up at. Now there was one, I think it might have been in 4 or 5, maybe 6, but they would have these statues that would randomly move about, so it would change the entire path thing. And yeah, that got annoying real fucking quick.
Yeah. Don't have shifting mazes. That is entirely bullshit. Dan, you're giving me a lot of power armlets.
Also, it's my turn to skedaddle for noms.
Ooh, late dinner today, huh?
Yep.
What you having?
Tacos.
Ooh, nice. Enjoy.
Yep. I will still be in chat, just not voice chat right now.
Alright.
Yep.
Sounds
Nom
good.
nom nom.
Yep.
Never mind. I gotta see if I've got the things I need to make the dinner that I want to make. I gotta make it last me a couple days.
I'm gonna finish off the curry I made last night, today. And then tomorrow I've got some coupons. They're advertising, apparently, you know how Dairy Queen does like burgers and stuff too, right?
Yeah.
They've been advertising buffalo sauce chicken fingers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to see how that's going to be. Probably not amazing, but
I mean, it's Dairy Queen.
it might be good.
Yeah. Be right back. I need to check something.
Aye. Wait a second. I'm just repeating the same. What's the trick to this? I'm gonna look this up. I'm just repeating the same room over and over. I remember there being a trick. I think I have to activate this thing in a certain order. token the true way. Here.
Ha!
Guys again. Get out of here. Things does not seem to be working. Have I ever played Breath of Fire 3? Actually, funny thing, Gamley. That's the only Breath of Fire I've ever played.
Okay, I am back.
Hello.
So I think I got mostly what I need, but I'm gonna have to make it tomorrow. It's a little late to be making it tonight because it takes a long time to make.
Whatever it is.
It's a basically chili mac but with extra steps.
Ah, that sounds good.
Yeah, I might swing by the local grocery store, see if I can find more large elbow noodles, because I don't think I have enough.
Yeah.
Like, I think I have enough for a plate, but not enough to last me the weekend.
I've done just like make a package of craft dinner and then get a tin of chili, like pre-made chili, and just combine them together. That was quite good. Do you guys have stag chili down there?
I don't know, actually.
This is brand name that we've got here. It's stag, spelled with 2 G's. They make really good canned chili. You know, by canned chili standards.
Yeah, my uncle on my dad's side. Well, it's my aunt's ex-husband, but like he makes some fucking fantastic chili.
You gotta steal his recipe for me.
Yeah, I trust me. I've asked him what his recipe is, and he never told me. He still won't tell me to this day.
Why is it that the best cooks are like that?
I guess pride in their work. They don't want somebody duplicating it. But I mean, I would think like you want to pass it on to somebody, keep your legacy alive.
Right. Like, okay, that got me through that one. I guess I have to do it again here now. You would think it would be the opposite. Yeah, like pride in your work would mean like I would love other people to be able to make this awesome stuff that I came up with. This particular way of doing it that I came up with. Breath of Fire bad. Why was hey Gamley, why was Breath of Fire 5 so bad? You ever play any of those, Luca?
Breath of Fire. I think I played the third. Yeah, the third one.
That's funny. I was just telling Gamley while you were gone that that's the only one I haven't played, or the only one I have played.
It was a long time ago, though.
It was very good. I remember being like a little sentient onion in as a team member, as a little plant guy. And I remember there was a feature where you could get trainers, and they would give you bonuses whenever you leveled up to some of your stats, depending on what they trained. And the little plant guy had a regen ability where he'd get a certain percentage of his health back every turn. So I gave him the trainer that gave him like more health and more strength. So his health was really high, so percentage of health he's got back meant that the amount of health he got back per turn was larger because he had more at max health. So he was really hard to kill because he just regens so much.
Gotcha.
He was great.
Yeah, I can't say I remember much of it, but I do remember playing a game called Breath of Fire. And I think it was the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember the little onion guy?
No. No, I don't think I do.
Well, it's been a while, right? So maybe you just don't remember.
Yeah, like I said, it was a long time ago.
This way. Wish I could at least tell what direction I'm facing without looking at the map, but oh well. Yeah, it's because of the desert in 3? I don't remember that part. How about Dragon Warrior, Luca?
Dragon
Warrior / Quest?
No, I don't think I've touched either of those. I played Dragoon though, that old PS1 game.
Legend of Dragoon, you mean?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that was good. How about Legend of Legaia?
No, but I got a friend that plays that. Loves it.
I love it, especially number 2.
Sadly, I don't keep in touch with said friend anymore. I don't know what the hell happened to them.
Yeah, these things happen sometimes.
Yeah.
I have a friend at one point who invited me to a Warhammer 40k role-playing game campaign. So I said, alright. Let me know when the campaign's ready to start. I'll jump in. Never heard from him again.
Have you played Tabletop Simulator at all?
For a couple things, yeah. You can do a lot of things with that.
Yeah, I watched Angry Joe play a Warhammer tabletop game on that, and I'm like, oh, I might get it because of that.
I think you can simulate pretty much anything with that thing. Like, I think you can do Mech Warrior and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Although I like War Machine better than Mech Warrior. Less complicated. And it's like weird Magitech golems. It's a cool setting. Yamli says in Breath of Fire 3 there was a desert you had to cross using stars to navigate. I don't remember that part, but that sounds kind of cool. How many of the Final Fantasies have you played, Luca?
Let's see, I've played... I played 7, 8, 9, 10, 13 Tactics, and that's about it.
Yeah. Tactics is the shit. Alright, you might want to hit... on Steam, they recently put out some remasters, or at least like pixel graphic technically remastered. They changed the sprites a little bit, but mostly it's just looks like the originals. A lot of the originals were released on Steam, so I would recommend checking out 4 and 6, maybe 5.
6 definitely. 5 and back, it's not that I haven't played them, so obviously I can't say that I dislike them, but I'm unfamiliar with them. But I would definitely love to try 6 because Kefka just interests me because he seems like that chaotic evil that I could get behind and enjoy.
He's a fun villain. I also like the fact that he dresses kind of like a jester, and his theme song is called "Dancing Mad." Cause he's crazy.
Oh yeah, I mean he's basically a fantasy version of the Joker from Batman.
Kinda.
And the Joker's like one of my favorite villains of all time, and superhero or basically any medium really.
Joker is awesome. Especially Mark Hamill's. Or Keith Ledger's. Yeah, I would recommend grabbing a copy of 4 and 6. 4 is an absolute classic as well. In fact, if you play it, you'll probably recognize a bunch of memes that you've seen around and didn't know what they were. I guarantee you've seen fan art of it at the very least.
Sorry, say what now?
I said if you play 4, like you're going to start recognizing a bunch of fan art and stuff that you've seen of it and didn't know what it was. You're going to play that game and you're going to be like, oh, that's who this is. So I believe it was Final Fantasy 3 that started there's a character named Sid in every game tradition.
There's a pair of games I played called Vandal Hearts, and there's always a character named Clive in them.
Vandal Hearts was good.
The first one I thought was. The second one I thought had a good story, but the gameplay got redundant really quick.
How did you like Final Fantasy Tactics?
I liked it. It was I was terrible at it as a kid. I did better. It's one of the few games where I was terrible at it as a kid, but as an adult I was pretty decent at it.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love the story to Tactics.
Speaking of which, I don't know if you were here on previous times when I've mentioned this, but if you don't already know this, you may be interested in knowing this game I'm playing right now is the same world as Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah, okay. Which is kind of neat. Although it's a different part of the world, I don't think there's any geographical overlap.
Yeah, out of all the stuff you played, I don't see any familiar faces or anything like that.
Yeah. But you do at least get an explanation for, so I remember they had those areas called Jagd in Tactics where it was more dangerous if your characters died. It was harder to revive them. And in this game they explain more about what Jagd is. But they're basically areas where certain kinds of magics don't work properly. Gambly wants somebody to buy Konami and do something with the Suikoden IP.
Oh, yes, please.
And also fix Castlevania while you're at it.
And get rid of this NFT bullshit.
Castlevania is basically dead. And also get rid of the NFT bullshit, yes. Alright, I'm going to call a break, because I need a new drink. And I should probably recycle some of this beer. I'll be right back.
Alright.
Pef made it? What does Pef Medid mean? Oh, did you mean permadied?
Who?
Gamly in chat. Yeah, I probably meant permadied. Yeah. So if I remember correctly, when somebody went down in combat, you had 3 turns to res them.
Yeah.
And normally, if you, I think normally if you didn't, they were out for the rest of the fight, but you got them back after the fight. But if you're in Yogg, they died forever. Alright, I need to get a map up of the next place because I'm going to some crazy bullshit maze, teleport maze. Okay. I think that'll do the job there. Also, of course, this game also teaches you how to pronounce the word yacht. As opposed to just looking at this thing on your screen that says J-A-G-D. What the hell am I supposed to say? Jagged. Back to the other zone. Just can't activate these pads here. I think this empty pad up there I have to activate now. You have to visit these shrines in a certain order. Thankfully you don't fail if you get the wrong order. You just can't press the button until you're at the right one. So that's a small mercy at least.
Small mercy.
I'm surprised they never made a tactics game where you could play these characters. Tactics.
Actually, I got a question for Gamley. Which one was your favorite, Suikoden 1 or Suikoden 2?
Personally, I think those are the only two as I played.
I've played bits of 3, but I didn't care for it all that much.
No, I don't have to do this one. Okay.
5? Okay. Not the answer I expected.
Have you played 5, Luca?
I have not. The only one I've heard anything bad about is 4.
Is 5 the newest one, or how high did that get?
5 was, I think, the last one they made.
Okay. Actually, hold on. I need to turn my heater back on. I got this baseboard heater in the room, but I can't really... it doesn't really fine-tune very well. So I end up having to make manual adjustments to it once in a while. It doesn't seem possible to just find the sweet spot and leave it there all the time, you know? I think I'm ready to open the gate, but I have to summon to do it. Let me just double check the inscription. Alright. Switch to Ash. And must summon Relax. up, friend. One time in the game, you're forced to use something. Backhanded that gate right open. So, Gamley, have you heard about one of the worst names for a game ever, Triangle Strategy? Looks like it could be a good game, but wow, Squeenix has just given up on names.
Squeenix.
You never heard that before?
No.
Smash up Square and Enix together. Squeenix. Then again, they haven't been able to name games properly in a long time.
On the farther shores of the River of Time, shrouded deep in the roiling mist.
What is it, Fran?
The mist runs thick here.
Like on the Leviathan?
Do not worry. I will behave myself. The mist here is cooled. I sense something like the shadow here.
Fenar. It appears Sid has yet to arrive. We'll lie in wait for him here.
So we're not going inside?
Not unless you want to end up twisted. Like the old man.
Kinda do, actually.
Something there.
What is it?
She can see him. Let's follow her.
I was gonna just wait out here, but then a ghost told me to go inside. So Snowcat, let me know if I'm remembering correctly. I think we do this area, then we go to the lighthouse, and then we do the end game, right? Or is there some other section I'm forgetting? Trying to gauge how much game is left. That is a big sword. So what are you click-clacking away at there, Luca?
Bikers.
I can hear your gamepad.
Oh. Let me turn the sound down a little then.
Oh, what's that, Bikers? So, GTA then?
Yep.
Look, he's got materia slots in his sword.
Yeah.
Destroying this guy. old Buster Sword. Pretty close. Buster Sword, or as one of my friends likes to call it, a sharpened car door with a handle on it. I swear the Buster Sword is almost more of a giant metal club than a sword.
Somebody else has joined us.
Oh no.
I've made it back.
What was dinner?
Hot dogs and egg rolls.
That's an unexpected combination.
I was gonna say, that's an interesting combo.
It sounds like the sequel to that one VR game.
Does it?
Hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades.
I've never heard of that. It's also a weird combination. I've never heard of hot dogs being mixed in with those. Healthy foods is returned, yes.
An interesting combination, but I can't go wrong with egg rolls.
Unfortunately you can, but thankfully that's rare.
Hot dogs are relatively hard to fuck up too, especially with 7 pounds of mustard.
I saw a weird cooking video the other day. Or I should say I was watching drunken peasants making fun of a weird cooking video the other day. Or no, it wasn't drunken peasants, it was a shit show. But either way. It was like some sort of weird hot dog omelet sandwich thing.
That sounds horrendous.
So what they did is they took, I think it was 4 hot dogs, cut them in half, and placed the halves in a frying pan. Sort of like imagine 2 slices of bread and then 4 hot dog halves times 2. So like you get the 4 hot dogs cut in half, and so you got 4 halves in a row in one spot and 4 halves in a row in another spot, kind of checkerboarded with the slices of bread.
Mm-hmm.
And then being fried in a frying pan, and then they beat some eggs and pour it around all of it, and then cook it like that, so it ends up like as you're basically toasting the bread and cooking the hot dogs, you're also making an omelet around them. And then I think they put some, like after they finish cooking, they put in some like tomato slices or something, and then just kind of folded stuff over, so that you ended up with the hot dogs on top of the bread, and then like the omelet around everything. It was weird. Then like some ketchup and mustard and stuff. But no actual seasonings other than condiments after the fact. It seemed like a kind of a weird way to do it. Like, why would you have the omelet on the outside of the sandwich? Why not make the omelet and then cut it up a little bit and fold it and then put it in the sandwich? So that you're holding bread rather than holding omelet.
How much mustard, though?
I don't remember. It seemed like a reasonable amount.
So, like,
assuming that you're a
pounds?
person who likes mustard to begin with. Huh?
So like 7 pounds.
I hope not. I think you may have a slightly different definition of reasonable. Then again, I think they might have a different definition of what is a good idea for a recipe. So
I'm never gonna stop, Snow.
I'm missing out on a backstory, aren't I?
Okay, so I have been alerted to a sale on Amazon for just bog standard yellow mustard.
Okay.
It is less than $5 shipped, and it is damn near 7 pounds of mustard.
That's a good deal.
That's a damn good deal. And a lot of these questions were, what would you do with 7 pounds of mustard? And like, yellow mustard is a good base. Like, you can do a lot of stuff with yellow
Also,
mustard.
I think that stuff lasts a long ass time, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
It does.
But like, you can add spices to it, you can add herbs to it, you can change its flavor really easily and do a bunch of different things. But Snow is not really a big fan of yellow mustard, which is, that's totally fine. A lot of people, some people don't, right? But I was joking around with her, and I said, I bet I know a way to make you really like yellow mustard. And she said, oh. And I said, yeah. Me, my new camera, 7 pounds of mustard, and nothing else. And it's been a joke ever since. Because she went silent for a solid 15 seconds.
You almost see the loading bar processing. Blush loading. Please wait.
That was funny.
I actually quite like yellow mustard, but a lot of some companies don't do it as well as others, obviously. But a good quality yellow mustard is real nice. Like, get some from a European deli or something.
Yeah.
That's nice stuff. I don't really
I have
like
a tendency.
What's the fancy one called? I forgot. Dijon. I don't like Dijon.
Dijon has a flavor, that's for sure.
It does. Perhaps a little too much of it. Here we have our classic behemoths, which are rather different from your typical Final Fantasy behemoths. It's like behemoth furries.
Yeah, these are on 2 legs.
Yeah. Although, that reminds me of a thought I had earlier. So, furry characters are anthropomorphized animals. Does that mean in Star Wars the droids are basically machine furries?
I guess.
Anthropomorphized machines?
Robosexual.
Yeah.
That might depend on... That might depend on the droid, but it also might depend on how deep into that rabbit hole you're willing to go as to what counts as anthropomorphized.
I mean, you know how I feel about rabbits and their holes.
Yeah, I do.
I'm going to go pretty deep.
Absolutely.
You really walked into that one. Oh man. But yeah, obviously it would be droids like C-3PO and not as much like R2-D2.
R2 is a bit anthropomorphized in his own way too, in the fact
he's
that
an anthropomorphized garbage can.
well, he's anthropomorphized emotionally rather than physically.
Yeah, like he's got human-like personality, and intellect, but not the body.
That's why I said it depends on how far down that particular rabbit hole you want to dig.
Mm.
Although I guess I don't know if I would call that anthropomorphized. Technically. But it's still...
It is by definition.
something. Yeah. Just not by the way we usually think about it, I guess.
Yeah.
So in this case, this can be one of those meme gifs where, you know, you are technically correct, which is the best kind of correct.
Yep. I always try to be technically correct.
We noticed.
Not sure if offended or not.
Little of column A, little of column B.
Maybe, fuck you very much.
There you go. Alright, question. These noises
Answer.
it's making as I walk across this light bridge? Do you think that noise could be accurately described as a shiny noise?
I guess.
Can't hear it right now because of the sound effects.
So every time
Yeah.
you get towards the edge, you keep scaring the absolute bejeebers out of me.
Luckily, there's an invisible wall at the edge.
Yeah. It's sad.
It looks like a terrible idea, but I don't think the game will actually let you fall off.
There's a few dungeons in 14 that actually have that, that sort of dealio as walkways, and it's like, nope, don't look down, don't look down, don't look down.
Oh yeah.
Instead, look up.
That's even worse.
Is that camera purposefully held for any period of time? That was weird.
I noticed that.
The camera really wanted to show off some ass.
Yeah.
Sometimes it do be that way. Let me see.
With nearly 7 pounds of mustard.
Good.
I would totally buy 7 pounds of mustard for $5.
How big is that ass? I'd say it weighs about the same as 7 pounds of mustard.
Just that meme of slapping the side of the car. Like, you wouldn't believe how much 7 pounds of mustard this can hold.
I wonder what the quality of it though. It's probably for that price. It's probably trash quality.
Yeah, if a car can only hold 7 pounds of mustard, it can't
No,
even hold a person.
I mean 7 pounds worth of mustard for $5. It's probably shitty mustard.
It's French's.
Oh, so then.
Generic. Yeah, generic.
All right, so not shitty, but also not great. Not like high quality, but not bad quality either. I would totally buy 7 pounds of French's mustard for $5.
Actually, it's because it's so flexible. Like I say, you can do so much with it.
I've never
Little bit
mixed
of
in
hot
herbs
sauce
and with
and it
stuff with it
changes
before.
it.
That's an interesting idea. You know that I've mentioned before. There's this specialist burger place downtown I go to sometimes. They have like some sort of custom altered condiments they do, where they have smoky ketchup and beer mustard.
Oh, beer mustard is good.
Beer stirred.
I don't usually use the mustard, but I love the smoky ketchup. Although I think what they just do is they buy like Heinz ketchup or something like that. And you ever see the grocery store you can get this bottle of liquid smoke? Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's like Heinz or something similar mixed with liquid smoke, but it's still very good. I don't know how else you can smokify the sauce.
I mean, they managed to smoke the liquid.
Or did they?
Yeah, liquid smoke is actual smoke.
Oh, okay.
It's
That does sound a little
it's
dangerous.
an interesting process. I wonder if it's anything. Well, no, it's not really. It's not. It's not exactly the same, but it's not all that dissimilar from actually making concrete out of seawater. Come to think of it.
So I'm
I
watching
want
this
to put that on my
cutscene-
burger.
So I'm watching this cutscene in GTA 5, and I just noticed one of the signs on this like run-down hillbilly bar. It's like specialty is Pieb, or was it Piebwasser, which is German for piss water.
Pisswasser. Yeah, that's a brand of beer in GTA. Pisswasser. That's a good gag.
Actually, you might appreciate this one, there, Luca. Earlier, I mentioned the whole Sigma male mentality, and a good friend of mine was like, "What even is that?" And I said, "You ever play GTA 4 or 5?" He said, "Yeah, but I never finished it." I said, "Brucey."
Oh, jeez.
Brucey is the Sigma male stereotype. Only they expect to be taken seriously.
Well, I mean, that's the beauty of GTA, or at least the story of GTA, is that it's a parody of what's going on in, like, modern culture and whatnot, and I don't know, GTA 5 story is looking a little outdated. I don't know how GTA 6 is going to look. Because they've announced
starting to work on that.
Yeah, they have.
I'm curious to see how that'll be. I tried playing 4, but the gameplay was so clunky I didn't like it.
4, I think
the characters of, or at least the playable characters of 5 just did not interest me. So I never got into that.
I mean, I think Trevor has his moments where he's fucking hilarious, but other times I'm like, okay, he's a bit of a tryhard with how crude he is.
Trevor's the redneck pilot guy, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, out of the 3, he seemed to be the only one with a personality.
Fair
And
enough. Like,
not a good personality, though.
oh no, he's absolutely terrible. He's like the worst fucking
Actually,
person. One of the worst people in the
but
game.
he's at least maybe entertaining.
Right? He is absolutely the quintessential meth addict.
Yeah.
Actually.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas the other 2 characters are like, okay, bland middle-aged white guy yuppie stereotype and black guy from the hood stereotype.
Yeah, Franklin I thought was the weakest, and he's supposed to be the quote main character of the game, whereas Michael and Trevor are the secondary characters. I kind of like Michael gets a soft spot for me because I watched The Sopranos and his character reminds me of The Sopranos to an extent. Even though Tony Soprano is a completely detestable piece of shit, whereas Michael is at least he's got some redeemable qualities. He's just a lazy piece of crap, whereas Tony Soprano is just a terrible human being.
Mm-hmm.
I think Franklin is the most redeemable of the 3. Like he's the least shitty person of the 3.
Probably.
At the same time, and I mentioned this, I don't like Trevor at all, but he is incredibly redeemable in one very, very obvious way, and it's something that he honestly doesn't get a lot of credit for.
Is it his honesty?
It's his... It's his willingness to just throw everything away for the people he cares about.
Oh, that's something, yeah.
Like, genuinely, he would move mountains for the people he deems worthy to do so. Granted, he does it in a drug-fueled rage, and I mean, it's kind of gross, but still, you know, credit where it's due.
Yeah, I mean...
He's trying his best.
And, yeah, like, Michael's kids, I mean, they hate their father, but they like Trevor because Trevor loves those kids something fierce, and...
Michael's the middle-aged yuppie guy, right?
Yeah.
God, he seems so bland and uninteresting. At least without having played the game, it seems that way.
He's got his moments. I think Trevor's the funniest of the three. Because I'm a Sopranos fanboy, Michael kind of resonates with me more in terms of likability. Whereas Franklin, he's a little too easy to like. Like, I don't know. He just felt like generic, as you said.
Yeah, like from the trailers and stuff I've seen, he seemed like just like a walking trope.
He had
More or less.
a lot of potential, sort of in the same way that Flynn did in the Disney Star Wars trilogy, but it was completely lost for the same reasons.
They felt pretty similar in those ways. Yeah. God, Flynn.
There's a comparison nobody expected me to make.
I'd contend Flynn was more poorly handled than Franklin, because at least Flynn had potential to be a fantastic character, whereas Franklin,
potential got pissed away though.
I think Franklin had potential to be a good character, but they were. I think this is the thing, sort of where GTA 5 becomes a very weak game, in my opinion. Is that they pushed out on the things that made GTA what GTA was. Like, they pulled punches that they hadn't pulled in any other game. I think it had entirely to do with the color of his skin.
Probably some political correctness.
I think they were afraid to make the character what he could have been because they didn't want to cause too much of a problem. Like, obviously, this is GTA, they're gonna cause a problem no matter what, but...
I mean, that's the point, even.
Well, GTA is meant to be a parody of its time. Like, GTA 3 made fun of how everybody was suing everybody for almost anything. Vice City was more or less a retelling of Scarface. And then San Andreas... I don't know what I compare San Andreas to.
I still think it's funny how... Basically, sorry, I was just checking the map there. I still think it's funny how basically Saints Row came out to be like, alright, we're basically GTA but sillier. And then, well, they started off kind of serious, but then they veered left and became their own thing. And just became GTA but better, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only Saints
the humor was way better. Huh?
I was gonna say the only Saints Row I've touched was 4, so I don't know what the first 3 were like. Or the
4's the best one, but 3 was also very good. They're all worth playing. But 1 and 2 were more like GTA. Like they hadn't gone completely balls to the wall silly yet. They had humor, but they really embraced the humor with 3. 3 just like dialed it up to 11, and then 4 went, oh, you're dialing it up to 11. That's cute. Let's see if we can go to 14.
And it kind of went off the deep end.
Yeah, but in such a good way.
We'll say that probably
I love Saints Row 4.
My favorite GTA character across all of the games still has got to be Nico Bellic.
He felt the most grounded to me.
He felt like...
Insert coffee fun here.
He felt like the guy that was trying the hardest to not be the villain. Everybody else was kind of okay with accepting it. He was like, listen, I did some shit in my past. I'm running from my past. I want to get away from this shit, and all these motherfuckers keep bringing me back.
They keep pulling me back in.
Like, you can see that, because when Brucey gets too much, what does Nico do? He walks away.
By the way, on this topic, guys, would you be interested in the future of, I recently fired a copy of the remake of Mafia?
Ooh.
Would that be of interest for the streaming list at some point?
Yeah, definitely.
Mafia's cool.
I
will say that they continue to piss me off with that one part, though, with the race car. It's like you bring in a classic Bugatti race car like that into a mechanic to sabotage, and you bring the camera up behind the mechanic and fade to black before showing off that sexy fucking engine. Fuck you.
Right? Yeah, Snowcat. It's basically a GTA style game, but in what era is it? Like the 20s or 30s or something?
I think it's during the 30s.
During Prohibition times, anyways, right?
Prohibition, definitely.
So
okay.
It's a GTA style game, but it's Prohibition era, and you join the mafia.
Hold on, let me check the Google Mobile.
Got some really good acting in it, at least in the remake, anyway. Actually, the original wasn't too bad either. The remake's better. So I might do that at some point.
Yep, it's set in the beginning of the game, early 1920s. Oh, so it spans basically across the early 20s to the early 30s.
Yeah, I think there's a couple time skips during the story.
Yeah, because the 30s and the 20s and 30s were when the mafia became like this big crime superpower, and it mostly had to do with Prohibition.
Yeah, so it's actually a part of a 3-game series, but this is the first game. I remember Mafia 2 being quite good as well. I don't think people liked 3 as much, but I didn't play it, so I can't say.
I think I've only played I've only played the first one.
Yeah, that one mission where you're supposed to steal and sabotage the Carazella C Auto. That car.
They left you very engineer blue ball, didn't they?
It's based on a Bugatti Type 54, which is a really cool race car.
Do any of you remember the absolute gem that was State of Emergency by Rockstar?
Oh, I remember that it existed, but I never played it.
Oh, it was so bad.
I was gonna say I heard it really flopped, though. Yeah.
There's a reason why nobody talks about it.
Yeah. And then also there. Wait, is that the one that was supposed to have originally been the continuation of Saints Row?
No, this came out back when like the PS2 had just started.
Really? I must be thinking of something else then.
So State of Emergency, like, I mean, its gameplay was redundant and kind of stupid, but like, it basically encouraged you to just shoot as many people as you could, and it's like, kill civilians for bonus score and all this. I'm like, what sort of demented sociopath made this shit?
Yeah. Well, Gamley says that was one of the cheapest games for its time, probably because nobody wanted it.
Probably.
Actually, speaking of these kinds of games, though, actually, in Saints Row and such, I don't know if any of you guys have seen the trailers for the reboot of Saints Row that's coming up, and what do you think about that?
I haven't seen it.
I feel like it might have potential, but something about it feels a little off. I think it might fail. It's not quite as wacky as it used to be. And some of the characters they've introduced seem a little bland. Which is kind of the antithesis of what Saints Row is supposed to be like. So I don't know how I feel about it. But maybe the gameplay will still be good. They seem to be setting it in, like, a New Mexico type of area. Like, it's supposed to be America, but it's got a lot of Hispanic influence. So it's an interesting looking area, at least. Well, Gamley just got the Saints Row that was ported to Switch not long ago. I don't know which one that was. Probably 3 or 4. But I don't know. That's a big rock. It's just floating there.
I can't shake the feeling we're somewhere we're not meant to be.
Is it because you're standing on the light?
It's exciting.
Exciting?
You are not troubled by the unknown? Who can say what lies ahead? we may encounter the very creators of Nethicite.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know what we'll find. I like it better that way.
You're sounding more the Sky Pirate every day.
Discovering the unknown is fun. When it doesn't kill you.
What doesn't kill you just makes you stranger.
Yeah. Sometimes. Those shiny noises again. I kind of like the way they do that, though. They have a special sound effect for when you're walking on, like, hard light, or whatever they call this.
Yeah.
Force fields. Whatever. Actually, speaking of walking on hard light, that's something I noticed that they've been doing in Halo a lot, so I was just reminded of the fact that I finally finished Halo Wars 2 yesterday, plus its DLCs.
Nice.
So, I'm finally ready to actually start playing Halo Infinite whenever I've got some time for that. 8 out of 8 games finished. If you were ignoring the mobile games, which of course I am.
Mobile games aren't games.
Some of them are, but not when they're shooters. Like a tactics game on mobile could work. But I am not playing a first-person shooter on a mobile phone.
No, thank you.
Hell no. Take a break from DR2 until the patch comes up and have a saga marathon? Oh. You mean like romancing saga games? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, where's the switch for this thing again? It was at the back, maybe.
It's over there.
Oh, of course. What was I thinking? Is that close to? Is that close to Auvergnat?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Auvergnat?
Somewhere others. That's true. I've actually got Romancing Saga 3, but I haven't played it much yet. Just weird games, like kind of like Final Fantasy, but not entirely. Kind of weird. Yeah, it should be interesting. Halo Wars 2 was actually pretty good. Not terribly difficult, but very pretty. I think it'll be interesting being able to go into Halo Infinite with pretty much the whole history of the series fairly fresh in mind, because I played them all pretty much back to back. As opposed to a lot of other people who probably haven't played the first few games in eons. Maybe there I can open that other door? I don't remember where the hell's... Oh no, wait, I'm supposed to go into the... There's a thing in the middle. Scarlet Grace, I don't even know what that is. Okay, here we go. I'm supposed to go talk to the stone.
Scared the crap out of me.
What is this, like a walk off onto space thing?
Yeah. there's an optional dungeon in 14 where you literally just have to jump off the edge
Leap of
to
faith it.
into a like whirlwind and hope you hit it.
Yeah. Oh shit, it was a foot too far to the left. Bye. Bye, everyone.
It's super obnoxious.
Scarlet Grace is the newest one on PS4 and Switch. Interesting. I might have to look that up. Look that up while the PS4 is handling it. It is on Steam.
Nice.
Actually, Saga Scarlet Grace Ambitions is on Steam. Is that the one you mean? Or is Ambitions like spin-off?
I did find it funny in this game that a lot of the ships are named after primals.
A lot of the what?
A lot of the ships in this game are named after like primals, bosses, whatever.
Oh, like yeah, like the classic espers, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Ifrit and Shiva and stuff. So the actual summonable espers had to be all new characters.
Yeah.
Have you played Scarlet Grace yet, Gamley? Do you like it? Do you have it? I might have played the first Saga game, but not any of the rest of them yet. That was so long ago. That was PS1. Played one character story so far. How do you like it, Gamley? Luke is going for it over there. Speaking of games named Scarlet, I've been playing this, well, not as much anymore, but I used to be playing this game called Scarlet Nexus.
I've heard of it.
Holy shit, that game is anime as fuck.
Yeah.
Right down to the overly complicated storyline. I don't know if I'm going to bother finishing it, honestly. I'm kind of losing interest. It's this weird thing where it almost seems like leveling up doesn't matter much. It's like the strength of your enemy is determined by what type of enemy it is, not what level it is. Even though it has a level and it tells you what level it is. But like, the level 10 version of that enemy is almost exactly as strong as the level 30 version is. It's weird. Yeah, I know the Saga games don't. I was just making a side note. Alright, let me see. Time for my crazy map. Where do we start? Does this have a number on it? Yeah, this is 7 or 8. I'm sorry. There. Okay. actually slightly confusing. I don't know what my goal is on this map. Maybe it's the A? Maybe the A. Alright, if anybody's curious, by the way. Here's the map of the place that I'm looking at right now. This is where I am, and this is what I have to navigate. This first. I guess anybody watching this on YouTube later might be confused. When I said this is the map, I posted it to Twitch chat.
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have literally no idea.
Yeah, I am definitely not going to be trying to get the Esper in here. Outstaff, okay. Wait a second, hold on. I don't think I am where I thought I was. That means I must be gone to that one. Alright, go back this way. There's a bunch of things labeled here that have Zodiac symbols on them, and I don't remember what that means. Oh wait, those was for these things, I think. Yeah, Gate Scorpio, so I have to get to the Scorpio symbol to unlock this, which should be this. This is where I meant to go before. I just got some misinterpreted things and got mixed up. You're always confused, lobotomy, Dan? No, that's because of the lobotomy. That's why. It's not your fault.
Constant state here of confusion.
Does she have to do it?
That's just my
She's chosen
existence.
to know it.
Confusion.
This is me.
Yeah.
Anybody looking at the map, I have to go over to where the number 1 on the map is, and I am currently at the number 8.
Okay.
Now, so straight ahead here. I think I can't open the Zodiac symbol switches until I've gotten to number 1. Then something happens over there. By the way, guys, if you can do me a favor and keep me updated on just any chat messages for the next little while, because I need to keep this map open.
Okay, that's fine.
And while I have this map open, it's on top of chat and I can't see it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Little bastard got me with his instant death attack. I say as I am wielding a sword that sometimes does an instant death attack. But I'm allowed to because I'm the player character.
Chris.
when they do it, it's cheating.
Exactly.
Is there an accessory that makes you immune to death effects? If there is, I don't think I have 3 of it.
Yeah.
I like how they have this treasure chest sitting right on top of a trap. But if you have to do it real careful, you can grab it. Alright, so let's see. I should be approaching the 6, I think. Or no, this is a yeah, this is 6, and this just teleports over. Oh, this is 7. This teleports to 6. There we go. The fun part is orienting yourself on the map. Assuming that you have a map at all, because haha, we don't in the game. Thankfully the internet has made one. Okay. So there, and there. I want this one.
Sort of where fixed cameras are really beneficial to this style of RPG.
They would be in a place like this, yeah. Oh, I don't think I can get in there. Can I use the other gate then? The cancer gate, cancer switch will work. There's a sentence.
Indeed.
Guessing I can't get through this, but I'm just gonna check it. Yeah, they can go through, but I can't. Alright. Have to go back and use the opposite exit then. Imagine navigating through this place without any sort of map whatsoever. You just show up in here and you're like, what the fuck's going on?
I've had games like that where they don't, like, I mean, they give you a map and it's confusing as fuck, or they don't give you a map at all and it's confusing as fuck.
Yeah, this gives you no map at all. You have to just... like,
roll the dice and pray you can...
You could draw your own, because a few of these things have these teleport stones in them, which have a number on them. So that gives you a point of reference, and then you can then draw stuff out from there. But... pain in the butt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm gonna finish up this area and then we'll call it a night. So I might go a little over time, but
okay.
I'm not sure how much. Probably not a whole hour. I don't know if I'm gonna need to do the extra hour thing that I was thinking of doing. Actually, I'm gonna take the other exit here. Let's see if there's loot over here. On the map, it's an empty room that seems to have no purpose. So maybe that means there's loot. Or maybe it's just there to confuse us. Who knows? God damn, that was a lot of debuffs. Did you go to school with a Marlboro or something?
How do you go to school with a pack of cigarettes?
Yeah.
I think that should be obvious. Although I do find it hilarious that the enemy that's known for causing debuffs with an attack called Bad Breath is named after a brand of cigarettes.
Yeah.
Although technically it's one letter different. It's Marlboro rather than Marlboro, but it's obviously a reference. Right?
Yeah, it is so... I'm not even sure if it's tongue-in-cheek at that point. It's just tongue right out of the mouth waggling around.
Pretty much.
That is a thing that came out of my mouth today.
As opposed to going into it.
Words generally don't go into one's mouth.
You're not kissing Kurt the right way then.
Oh, with snow in Ohio, I'm not currently kissing anyone.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of people's lives right now, isn't it? Alright, so So this should be open now. Yep, okay. I should have only one other exit.
Ha! Yeah!
Why is there a number on this one? Oh, I'm in the in-between. I think I'm between the 5 and 6 on the map right now. Feels kind of appropriate that I was inflicted with slow while I was also turning to stone. It's like, yeah, I feel like being stoned would make me slower. Not known for its flexibility. Old hairpin. Is that a hat or a accessory? I think it's a hat. Pretty nice one too, I'll take it. This is stone cured. Ash, get over here. Thank you. Alright, so this should be the 5. Yep, okay. Looks like we've got another Zodiac gate. So, let's see. I need to find the 3-pronged section. Or wait, no. There's 3, and I need the far left of this one. The red line doesn't count as an exit because that's a teleport. Now, time to explode. Mom Bomb. The mother of bombs.
You mean the Tsar Bomba?
Sure. Why not?
It's the strongest nuclear weapon in the world.
Pretty much then. Alright, Ninja Gear. That would be you. Loses a bit of strength, but it gains speed and defense. Yeah. Extra speed might help offset the little bit of loss of strength.
I was gonna say those are your typical trade-offs.
Yeah. Nope. It's a ghost. Necrophobe? So he's afraid of himself then?
That's why he avoids the mirrors.
I'm hideous. Don't look at me.
Oh dear.
Actually reminded me of this SCP game where you're in like this brick building, and anytime you look at the monster, it says, "Don't look at me." But anytime you turn away from it, it like inches closer towards you.
Sounds about right. Did you ever play Control, Luca?
No, but I watched. I think it might have been. I think I might have popped in for one of your streams of it, and I think I watched a little bit of Girly play it.
Yeah, it's very SCP, and it's got a thing in there where there's like basically like a haunted fridge that eats you if you don't continually stare at it. So they have people whose job it is Well, I guess, you know, they work there in general, but they have a rotating duty that they call fridge duty. To make sure that there's somebody staring at the fridge at all times. Wait, I thought I... Just do that? Oh, it's Aries. Fuck, where's Pisces? Oh, it's over there, okay. I thought that was an X. Alright, so I'm at the 4. That's that. So this way. But I like how they handle it in Control, because they actually gamify it. Because not only is there a person there staring at it, but basically the guy who's on fridge duty when you get there gets killed just before you arrive to help. And then you can go into the room where the fridge is to try to fix it. And as long as you're looking at the fridge, you're okay, but if you look away from the fridge, you start taking damage. So I'm like, hey, that's a good way to handle that. They actually represented it in the gameplay. A lot of games wouldn't have bothered with that detail, you know? No ludonarrative dissonance for them. I just like the fact that we have a special term for that sort of thing when the game's narrative and the game's gameplay don't match up properly. Like, oh no, Eris died, what are we gonna do? I guess I'll dry my tears with these 50 Phoenix Downs I have in my pocket. But I'm not using to resurrect her for some reason. Number 3. Yes, okay. Up through there. And Bob should be our uncle. In theory. Here we go.
In theory.
Stuff is happening.
I've never seen this much mist. Are you all right?
I'm fine, thank you.
Is that nethicite?
I wonder.
With that much nethicite in one's grasp,
You could destroy all of Evilise, if you wished it.
Piercing look. Well, do you? Do I have to put you down right now? That was definitely the look on Friend's face. Like, I will put you down, bitch. Don't make me do it. Hey, save point. I think there's actually an autosave when you go into a new room as well, but... yeah. Actually, I think we're basically at the end of this. And a big story thing. Actually, no, we'll do the story thing now. People aren't always necessarily here at the very beginning of a stream, so I don't want them to miss out. We'll do it now. There's a lot more to this place. As you can see, if you're looking at the map, it's optional stuff if you're trying to get the Espertas in here, plus I think more loot. But I think this is the only part we have to do. Basically, a quarter of this map is all we need to do for the story. But then there's 3 times as much more for optional stuff. It's crazy.
It's Batman!
It's Batman.
Sorry, what did you say, Luca?
I said it's Batman.
Oh, Batman. It's Batman lady.
Well, it's Batwoman then.
Look at that crazy ass back you gave her. Some sort of lunatic backpack thing. What the fuck even is this? Lady, you're fucking weird.
An acorn of some sort.
Yeah?
With a monopod.
That is a weird hat.
Trying to see if this thing's attached to her back. I think it is. But it's also attached to her head.
When you're so extra that your hat needs its own little wheel to stay upright.
And it needs to be supported on your back.
Yep.
Well. You need structural supports for your hat. There's something wrong here. Either that or you're a Star Wars character.
Yeah?
Looking at you, Princess Amidala.
So apparently Amidala was based off of at least design-wise, her outfits and everything, she was based off a real person.
Huh. Weird. You know what, I should probably make my way back out of this place while I still have the map up. I don't remember if they let me teleport out easily or not. No Vaughn for the cool pose scene because he's dead. Well, it was nice knowing you, buddy.
No, Captain.
Oh yeah, he got diseased. That's why he died. And that is a nasty status effect because it lingers past dying. Like, you die with disease on, and then you get rezzed, you still have disease on, and you have 1 hit point. So that's a nasty debuff in this game where whenever you take damage, it comes off of your maximum health as well. So you can never be healed because your maximum health is going down with your current health. All the way down to 1. Which is what happened. And it's hard to get the cure. Like I had the cure for it, but I only had 3 of them. Okay, this might be the teleport out. Also, I'm gonna have to find a store that sells serum so I can buy a bunch more. Sorry, Ty? What?
I looked it up again to make sure that I wasn't misremembering something, but the mention of the Sarbamba. Interesting fact about that is when it was detonated, it was about 50 megatons. That was version 2. Version 1 was theoretically capable of 100 plus megatons.
Damn.
They brought it down because they didn't think the plane could get out of the way in time.
Probably correct. So we're in the sky now.
So as big as that bomb was, it weren't shit compared to what it could have been.
Where is everyone?
Fear not, Princess of Dalmasca. We, Ocuria, have chosen you, and you alone.
could get cleansed?
Ashalia Benargan Dalmasca, we see your heart desires power, and power most holy shall we grant. Seek you the Suncrist, slumbering star. In tower on distant shore, it dreams. The mother of all Nethicite, the source of its unending power. The Dynast King, his fallow shards coarse trinkets cut from Suncrist's light.
Such power exists?
In times that are long passed away, we sought to save this Ivalice, and chose Wraithwall, the Dynast King. He took the sword and cut the Christ. 3 shards he took from its gilt grasp, and so became the Dynast King. His words and deeds run through your veins.
That's why I was
that's
given
blood,
it.
actually.
The Sword of Kings.
The treaty held with kings of old is but a memory, cold and still. With you, we now shall treat anew, to cut a run for history's flow. Now take this sword, this treaty blade,
That's a pretty
the
sword.
Purian seal, mark of your worth. Cut deep the Christ, and seize your shards. Wield Dynast King's power. Destroy Vanar.
But Vanar... Vanar's an Ecurian. A being like you.
Vanar is a heretic.
Alright, lady, jeez.
Yikes!
The Nethicite is ours to give to chosen bearer, or to none. The heretic trespassed, and set the rose of knowledge in man's hand. With imitations they profane. It is anathema to us. We give you now the stone and task. Administer judgment. Destroy them all.
Who's them all?
Judgment?
You only mentioned one.
Starting to sound like the Mad King Ares.
I
Destroy them
actually
all.
loved their designs
The
in this
Empire.
game.
They're very unsettling.
Yeah.
Heels of askew, history's weave.
They're very other.
With haste, they move through 2 short lives. Driven to err by base desires. Toward waste, and wasting, on they run. Undying, we Ocuria light the path for wayward sons of man. Oft did we pass judgment on them, so that Ivalice might endure. Eternal, we are history's stewards, to set the course and keep it true. The chosen is our hand, our fist, to let live some and crush the rest. Princess, you have been chosen. Take revenge against those who stole your kingdom. Fulfill your role as savior.
I don't think I could even lift that sword.
Attain to your birthright.
Ash! What's with these Ecuriya? What gives them the right to tell you what to do?
Will you take revenge, as they ask?
We could not see them, but we heard the Ecuriya speak. They may be gods, but we are the arbiters of our destiny. Your Highness, I'm against this. The Empire must pay, but destruction?
Does anyone know what happened to Dr. Sid? Wasn't he saying he'd be here?
He should have arrived by now.
And I should have realized by now. He's not coming. He laid out the bait, and we bit. Remember what he said? He wanted Ash to get the stone. He wanted that all along. That's why he flaunted his Nethicite, and reeled us in with his stories about Giruvegan, all to bring Ash to the Okuria.
But wait, if we got a hold of the Nethicite, wouldn't that be bad for the Empire?
Maybe he wants to see what happens when foes with Nethicite collide. That'd be just like Dr. Sid.
I will search out the Suncrest.
History is built by our hands. That's his favorite line. He'd never stand by and watch the Okuria stones shape things. So, he was talking to Vinar all along. He wasn't mad at all then, was he?
Well, I think he still is, just not for that reason. Still a little unhinged.
Restore Dalmasca's
But aren't we all?
sovereignty and make our amends with Lady Ash. It's the only way to avert war.
It is a war of necessity.
This guy's got wings on his
Your
shoulders.
Lady
he's not
Ash
sane.
herself is bent on it. She desires it above all else.
I think he's
She will not rest until her
What weird
revenge
designs
is
for
full
falcons.
wrought.
I fear you misread her intent. She would sooner shun war than embrace it.
You are young,
See, he's got a
Larsa.
good outfit
And
there.
you presume beyond your ken.
Then let us look closer. Judge Gabranth. I would have you seek after the Lady Ash and judge whether she makes overtures of peace or war. Yours shall be the eyes of the Empire.
And should I espy war, I am to put her to the sword. Is that your wish, Excellency?
It will not come to that, I am sure. I have faith in her, faith in you both. On you, Gabranth, shall I wager all our fortunes.
As you will.
Of course, Squeenix is kind of infamous for over-designing their characters.
That so sweet a child could be your brother is hard to believe.
Larsa is as he should be.
What's that, Vena? Ah, taken the bait already, have they? Splendid. The Okuria have given the princess her treaty blade.
The gods have chosen their scribe to write history as they deem fit. Yes, and she with fresh Nethicite to aid her.
Bah, to hell with the Okuria and their stones. What good? A power that cannot be harnessed. Baubles best suited for study, no more.
We conquered 2 kingdoms that you might study these baubles.
Oh, I am grateful for the sacrifice. Without it, manufactured Nethicite would have eluded us. An unrivaled weapon, I warrant you. Tell me, Vena, have I not been an apt pupil?
Yep.
My counsel did but guide your able hand. Through power of man, the stones did you perfect. Yes. So much accomplished in 6 fleeting years. Man's fervor o'er all obstacles prevailing.
Our lives are much too short. You undying might waste long centuries away, but we, I fear, cannot.
Just so. Had we more time, we might have availed ourselves of more prudent measures.
Your greatest work still lies before you. Not lightly will the Okuria allow you to wrest the reins of history from their grasp, back into the hands of men.
Indeed. What claim does Garen have on history's reins, seated on throne immortal, rent from time? For your ascendant's vein I offer prayer. May you attain all that which is your due.
Oh, he's gonna.
Attain it I shall.
Interesting that he can actually
For too
hear
long
and
have my
see her,
deeds
though.
gone unrewarded.
Most people can't.
I think Vane's the main villain of this game.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
In tower on distant shore dreams the Suncrest. Do these words mean aught to you?
Didn't Redis say he was going to follow some other course? Maybe he found out something that can help.
I'd rather stay out of that Sky Pirate's
Smartest thing
debt,
he
thank
said
you.
the entire game.
What's wrong with Redis? I mean, if you can't trust your own kind, who can you trust?
You're an expert on pirating now, are you?
Let's take me outside now, or? Yes, okay. The hell out of ya. Alright. Do the lighthouse tomorrow, and I think at the lighthouse we go into the end game.
Okay.
So we might be able to finish this tomorrow. We'll see.
Neat.
We shall see.
And I'll have whiskey tomorrow. Yay!
Which will also be neat. Or not.
Yeah.
I don't know how you take your whiskey. Alright,
Straight,
I
usually.
was gonna see who we can raid, but I have literally one person online.
Let's see. The only one I got... Oh, you got one?
Well, I was just looking at recommended channels, and there's somebody called Murder Donut. That's tempting.
Are you familiar with Miss Scarlet Tanager?
No.
No. I was going to say, she just started playing Resident Evil Gaiden.
Ah.
But if you want to try that
wait a
donut
second.
guy...
Hold on. I know who we're raiding.
Oh.
Shaper of Stories. I know who this person is. Remember I mentioned once in a while... I didn't know this guy had his own channel. I've mentioned once in a while this YouTube channel I watch for Let's Plays called Super Beard Bros. This guy is one of them. We're going to raid him.
Okay.
He is playing Guilty Gear Strive. Okay, so it's a Street Fighter-ish type game. I don't know if you guys are much... Actually, this doesn't look like that. I don't know what the
Guilty
fuck
Gear
he's doing.
sounds familiar.
I don't know what the fuck
Welcome
he's doing.
back.
Well, it says Guilty Gear there. I don't know what's going on over there right now, but we're going to go find out. And we're going to raid this man. Have yourselves a good evening, everybody. Thanks for hanging out.
Bye.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can do with this game tomorrow.
Yay.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.
I need to type in the name because they're not on my phone. Paper of Stories. Okay, here we go. T-10. Good night.